Greetings. Today we're discussing postgraduate interviews, focusing on taught master programs in Hong Kong. If you're pursuing a master's degree, whether to advance your career, switch fields, or develop specialized expertise, the interview process works very differently from undergraduate admissions. Postgraduate master's programs split into two distinct types: taught masters and research masters like MPhil. Taught programs center on coursework and professional development, while research programs focus on independent investigation under supervisor guidance. These require fundamentally different interview approaches. We'll address taught master interviews first, then move to research masters later. Generally speaking, three primary areas come under evaluation during taught master interviews. Professional maturity and career clarity rank first. Can you provide coherent justification for this degree? Interviews dismiss vague responses like "I want to learn more" or "if it benefits my career." They expect you to demonstrate how this specific program connects to your professional trajectory. Career switchers must explain their transition logically. Those advancing in current fields should identify precise skill gaps the degree addresses. Second is your capacity for postgraduate level engagement. Interviewers assess whether you can think critically about your field and contribute personal perspectives to discussions. Most taught programs incorporate group projects and seminars where student experiences drive learning. They need to know you can participate meaningfully. Third involves evaluating your consideration of practical realities. Hong Kong taught masters demand substantial tuition and either leaving your job or managing part-time study alongside work. Have you genuinely weighed these factors? Interviews can detect when someone hasn't fully committed to the investment, which raises concerns about whether you'll actually complete the program. Most taught master interviews follow individual meetings with program directors or faculty members. These conversations run 20 to 30 minutes and feel more conversational than undergraduate interviews. Expect questions about your background, why you're applying now, and what you hope to achieve. Some programs require portfolio discussions, particularly in creative fields. If you're applying for architecture, design, or communications, prepare to walk through specific projects. They'll want you to explain your thinking and decision-making, not just showcase finished work. In Hong Kong, mixed language interviews are common. Interviews may switch between Cantonese and English mid-conversation to assess your language proficiency, especially when programs teach in both languages. Interview priorities vary across taught master programs. Understanding your program type is essential for preparation. Professional programs like MBA, Master of Social Work, or Master of Education target specific career outcomes. Interviews emphasize professional experience and future planning. They probe your career goal clarity and whether this degree is the right tool for where you want to go. Expect questions on leadership experiences or how you've handled workplace challenges. Specialized academic programs like Master of Linguistics or Master of Economics work differently. These attract candidates seeking deeper theoretical knowledge. Interviews explore your intellectual interests more than career trajectories. Questions might address what theories you find compelling or how you approach analytical problems. In Hong Kong, there's also the full-time versus part-time distinction. Full-time programs typically assume recent graduation or career breaks, so they'll ask about your commitment level. Part-time programs serve working professionals and focus on time management and work-study balance. Next, let me show you what interviews watch for and how to address these areas even if they're genuinely your weak spots. Very often, they'll probe whether you actually know what you're signing up for. Even if you're still figuring things out, identify 2 specific aspects of the program that genuinely interest you. These are things that you can prepare for at the last minute. Besides, they'll sense if this is a backup plan. If you are coming from a difficult job search, reframe it. Focus on what the degree enables rather than what you're running from. It's important to show forward momentum. They'll also test your program knowledge. Before the interview, spend some time on their website. Know at least a few course names and one thing that distinguishes this program. It takes minimal effort but demonstrates basic respect. Here is a suggested framework to prepare for your interview. You may start with developing a clear career narrative. Connect your past experiences, current situation, and future goals with this master's degree as the logical next step. Write it down and practice saying it aloud. It should sound natural while remaining confidently deliverable within 2 minutes. This narrative anchors nearly every response you give. Next, identify specific courses that interest you and be ready to explain why. Look into unique features like industry partnerships or international exchanges. Engaging with these details proves you're serious. After that, like job interviews, you may prepare thoughtful closing questions. Avoid questions about information already clearly stated on the website. Instead, inquire about alumni career trajectories or how coursework applies to real-world situations. Your question should show you're evaluating fit, not just hoping for acceptance. For those with professional experience, prepare concrete examples. Recall situations where you demonstrated leadership or solved complex problems. These examples make your responses memorable and credible. Remember, your ultimate goal is to sound like someone who's carefully considered this decision and understands precisely why this program makes sense right now. Let's move on to MPhil interviews. Research master programs assess entirely different criteria, making this a fundamentally different process. MPhil interviews center on your research proposal and researcher potential fundamentally. While taught master programs enroll many students taking similar courses, MPhil programs involve individual supervision. That is 2 years working closely with an academic supervisor on your research project. The interview assesses not just university interest in you, but whether specific supervisors want to work with you. Format reflects this reality. MPhil interviews often involve direct potential supervisor meetings, one-on-one or in small panels. Conversation focuses almost entirely on proposed research. They'll request explanation of your research question, justification of its significance, methodology discussion, and demonstration of engagement with existing scholarship. This exceeds taught master interview specialization. You're expected to discuss your topic with some authority despite not yet being an expert. The interview tests researcher thinking and sustained focus capacity on narrow topics over 2 years. Across disciplines, there are 3 elements that MPhil interviews would almost always assess. Research question clarity comes first. Can you articulate a focused, feasible research question? Many applicants propose excessively broad or vague topics. Interviews seek understanding of the distinction between general interest and researchable questions. Angle is the supervisor's favorite word. By the time you attend the interview, you will probably have already submitted your proposed topic, and it is very important to be able to explain why you chose this angle and how it represents an unfilled gap worth investigating. Methodological awareness ranks second. Methods expertise isn't required yet, but you should have considered your actual research approach. Interviews, surveys, archival analysis, experiments, which will you use? Why does that approach suit your question? Interviews detect when someone has topics without realistic investigation plans. Academic commitment beyond coursework matters as well. MPhil programs demand genuine intellectual independence and resilience. Research involves setbacks, dead ends, and prolonged solitary work. Interviews probe your understanding of this reality and whether research itself, not just credentials, motivates you. They might ask about previous academic work challenges and your responses, or your approach when encountering immediately unsolvable problems. As you could imagine, MPhil interview preparation demands focused, deep work. Before attending the interview, you may want to revise your research proposal thoroughly again. Every aspect should be explainable without notes. What is your research question? What is its significance? What literature gap does it address? Any potential challenges and solutions? Practice articulating these elements clearly and concisely, as you would find it quite challenging to put it into intelligible language, even when you have already worked on the proposal for so long. Other than intellectual-oriented issues like current scholarship and methodological questions, it's almost important to reflect on practical logistics. For instance, if you're proposing qualitative research, you'll need to discuss your sampling strategy, interview protocols, or analysis approaches. Meanwhile, quantitative work means you need to understand your statistical methods. Archival or textual analysis requires you to identify your sources and justify why they matter. Supervisors want to see that you're confident about how you'll actually execute your proposal. Finally, prepare thoughtful questions about resources and support. Some directions you may consider asking about include library access, research funding, conference opportunities, and training workshops. Inquire about program support for students encountering research difficulties. These questions show your thinking beyond acceptance toward actual program success. To wrap up, postgraduate interviews assess you differently depending on whether you're pursuing taught master's or research master's programs. For taught programs, clarity about your career goals and professional maturity matter most. For MPhil, it's about your research potential and supervisor compatibility. Prepare accordingly, engage authentically, and remember that the right program will recognize what you bring. I hope you feel more prepared now. Best of luck, and thanks for watching.